Since its beginnings, Peugeot has gained a long tradition of competition. But it was in the 1950s and the 1960s, especially with the 203, the 403 and the 404, that the company from the town of Sochaux in France, really thanks to its incredible endurance of the mechanical system, got a major plus. It then became the great specialist of all the African rallies. Peugeot, in the 1970s, with the Coupes and Berlin 504, and thanks to the Safari and Banana rallies, made these two world championships its territory.
200. Attention, attention, nos dates très très mauvaises. 500. Gauche droite à fond. 800. Droite haut. 300. Droite très bon.
But at the beginning of the 1980s, Peugeot's ambition really grows bigger. It is the whole world that the French firm wants to conquer. And to reach that goal, its secret weapon will be the 205 Turbo.
Sacré 205, j'aime ton numéro.
Thanks to its popular 205 launched in 1983, Peugeot will recover a very strong company dynamic. The 205 is a very wonderful car which really pleases the public, and it becomes a reference in the sports models with the GTI version. Under the direction of the chief executive of Peugeot, Jean Boileau, the mission will be given to Jean Todt and the whole staff of technicians, the conception of the Turbo 16, a newly conceived car following the new rules of the B Group, 200 copies for a car conceived for the World Rally Championship. Well, we started with the basis of a 205, and then starting from that point, we really wanted to have a racing car. And that racing car for us, the best compromise was to have an engine positioned in a central position with four-wheel drive and turbo motor with a good equivalence of cylinders, and that allowed us to reutilize the block of the Coupe GTI, which was the XU. It's the customer's version of the Turbo 16 presented in 1983. allows the 4 cylinders 1.8 liters turbo compressed car to have 200 HPs. The 20 Cup is strictly reserved for competition, present a power of 360 HPs.
Jean Todt avait besoin d'un
Jean
pilote
Todt needed
pour cette
a
voiture.
test pilot
Il savait que je me
for
morfondais à
that car.
Marseille. Il m'a demandé
He knew that I was feeling not too
d'être
good
le
in
pilote d'essai de
Marseille,
la 205 Turbo 16.
and he asked me to be the
mi-décembre 82.
test pilot of the
Il m'a dit
Turbo
si ça t'intéresse, tu as une heure,
205
tu viens à Paris. J'ai
16.
accepté tout de suite. On
He
s'est
told
mis
me on the
d'accord.
phone,
J'ai
if
laissé
you have
tomber
1
ma
hour
concession
available,
automobile
come to
sur le
Paris.
champ pour me
I
rebaignir
directly
à fond dans
accepted
ce
and I
auto.
said, of course, I'm here in an hour.
Et j'ai donc eu la chance
So
de,
that's how I got the chance
d'être
and the
le
opportunity
pilote d'essai
to
de
be
la
the test
205
pilot
Turbo
of the 205
La première
Turbo
voiture de
16.
course, a
The
dû
first
arriver,
racing car must have arrived
on va dire avril-mai par là.
around April or
Il y
May.
avait tout à faire
something
pour
like that.
créer l'équipe.
Everything had to be
Mon
done
rôle,
to
c'était
meet the
surtout
team
de rouler avec la
and create the
voiture,
team.
de faire
My
des
role, my
et
job was
d'expliquer
to
ce que je ressentais,
drive the car, explain
modifier la
to the
voiture en
staff
fonction
and the
des
technicians
mesures du
what I
pilote.
was feeling.
Donc ça a été une véritable année
And it was really a full year of testing,
avec
complete year of full
une première
testing, and
participation
with the first
non prévue dans le
participation,
cadre du
which was
programme
not planned
en fin
at
d'année
first,
à une course sur terre qui était
a
le
first
trophée
participation on a run, the Jean-François Peugeot Trophy. In December 1983, the 205 T16 makes its first public appearance and is confronted
On a
to its
réussi à
competitors.
convaincre Jean Todt que ce serait bien en
We
guise de
talked
récompense en
with
fin d'année
Jean Todt
que
and
l'ensemble
we
de
decided
l'équipe puisse
that it would be
participer
great
au
that the
trophée Jean-François
whole
Peugeot, qui était une
team
course
could be able
organisée
to
une seule
participate to
fois
that Jean-François Peugeot
une seule
Trophy.
fois à la mémoire de Jean-François.
And that
Jean
trophy
Todt a
had been
accepté
organized for
d'être
only
dans cette
one
course-là,
special event
avec une voiture
to be able to remember the death of
mais
Jean-François.
l'utilisation moteur était très mauvaise. On avait une plage
So
moteur
the-
qui n'avait que 1000 tours
The engine
d'utilisation.
only did
Bon, on est allé faire ce trophée
1000
Jean-François Peugeot, c'était une belle récompense
laps,
pour
and
l'équipe.
we did the trophy, so it was a good reward for the team, but I was bitten by Philippe Homberg.
Tout à fait adapté à ce genre de terrain. Ça n'a pas
It
du
did
tout
not
gêné pour la suite de la carrière sportive de la voiture.
Prevented us to have a very successful sportive
Très impressionné
career
par la cohésion
for the 205.
de l'équipe réunie.
I am very impressed by the
Très impressionné aussi par
real link and cohesion that there is
cette amitié, par
around
ce
the
que
whole
fait
Jean
Jean-Pierre
Todt's
Nicolas, qui est
team
tout à fait remarquable
and
pour,
the whole work
qui
that
vous êtes
they've done
considérablement à la mise au point de la voiture.
and the whole conception of
Je
the
veux
car
dire que ça me paraît de-
really owes to
de
them,
très
and
bon augure
and
pour l'avenir, et
I
Jean-Pierre
consider this as a
Nicolas,
very, very good
Nicolas
sign
et toute l'équipe qui
for
est
the future of Jean Todt, Jean-Pierre Nicolas, and the whole team around.
Beaucoup de monde.
Many people are working, many hours spent studying, working, and now here we are on the field, and it's going quite well. Well, the goal is to be able to catch up with the competitors and participate into the rallies, and to see that the first version that we've created already is good to be here. It is during the season of 1984 that the Turbo 16 is going really to enter the great fight of the competition. It was in
On a participé à
Corsica.
notre premier rallye au Tour de Corse.
Well, we
Donc, on en avait
participated to
déjà
our first
raté,
rally.
trois. On avait raté
Corsica.
Monte-Carlo, la Suède et le
We already had
Kenya.
missed
La voiture
Monte
a été
Carlo rally,
vraiment
the rally in
non pas
Sweden and the rally in Kenya.
compétitive, mais fiable et au point.
So maybe we
À
didn't
partir
have
de
a
la
very
mi-saison, quand Henri
competitive
Latanet
car
a mis son premier rallye des
only
Mille-Lacs, c'est-à-dire au mois d'août.
at the half of the season,
Je pense
around
pas
August.
qu'on aurait pu être champion du monde la
I don't
première
think
année
we
en
could
84.
have
Je crois que
had become world
le
champions anyway in
timing,
1984, but
prévu à
I
l'époque
think
a
that the
été
timing
très,
we
très
had
bien.
at that time was very well decided and organized.
Pour faire la mise au point de la voiture.
4 rallies to really check the car, to prepare the team. I think it was a very good choice, and the objectives were, of course, 1985 and 1986. The Corsica Rally was the first participation to a part of the World Championship and to a rally. Jean-Pierre Nicolas and Harry Vatanen, the two pilots, are going to show how harsh they can be with the good competitors of that time, may it be Lancia or Audi. Without any complex, Vatanen goes to the 20th special, and then Mark Wallen's Lancia takes the lead. After the rally, Jean-Pierre Nicolas succeeds in getting a very, very positive and exciting 4th place. New appointment in Greece at the Acropolis Rally, where the 205s are going to make a real good impression during the first specials on a very difficult track. The resistance of the young Turbo 16 is going to be put through a very difficult situation. The fight for the victory takes place between Peugeot and Audi, whose respective cars have 4-wheels drive, the 16 Quattro and the 205. Unlike Lancia, with its 07, whose drive is with only the rear wheels. Vatanen is going to abandon at the 32nd special, but he had shared the scratches with Blanquist. Nicolas will reach the 30th special, but his brakes will abandon him. Blanquist and his Quattro will win the rally. Learning all the lessons from this double experience, the 205 Turbo 16 appears in Finland 2 rallies later, and this time the Turbo 16 205 imposes its rhythm against its competitors. On his native land, Harry Vatanen will be the emperor. He will lead the rally and the competition from the 13th special up to the arrival line. Second and third on Lancia, Mark Wallen and Henri Toivonen will fight. But it will not help them, because Vatanen will be able to make 31 successive scratches, and the victory is finally met for the Turbo 16 206 Peugeot after only 3 rallies. In Italy, in San Remo, however, Peugeot is not dazzled by its victory. The 206 has a lot to prove and a lot to learn. But Vatanen will be unfightable, imposing his style from the 9th to the 54th and last special of the rally, letting very, very little hope to the Lancia and Audi pilots. Jean-Pierre Nicolas stands his ground by winning position number 5. 2 victories already within 4 participations. There is no doubt at all the 205 Turbo 16 is really in, and maybe even is the best car at that moment. And at the rack in England, Batten and his co-pilot Terry Harman confirmed this impression by remaining the leaders nearly from the beginning to the end of the rally, showing the other teams, and especially Audi, that 1985 may turn out to finally be Peugeot's 205's year.
Flag is being held there by Mr. Porsche on North Central. Under the arch, the victory arch, the winners of the 1984 Lombard R82 Rally.
With 3 victories in 5 rallies, Peugeot can be happy and confident. The goal the firm had fixed itself to be the World Rally Champion now is not anymore a utopic dream. The 205 Turbo 16 is really the favorite car for the championship in 1985. Audi, Lancia, Renault and Nissan really want to keep their evolved models. 2 205s are engaged for the season. Of course, one is given to Harry Vatanen and also one to Timo Salonen, who joins the team, and also a third car is given to Bruno Sabi.
Jean Todt
gave me a little program for the first year. For the first participation I did with them at the World Championship. Of course, Harry Vatanen and Timo Salonen were doing the whole program because they had the advantage to be doing their own proofs on this kind of ground and track. We had much more competitions on the ground. But at that time, Jean Todt was interested maybe for other rallies like Monte Carlo or Corsica or Sanremo, and he was starting to put me as the third pilot in the more equipped competitions. In Monte Carlo, knowing some problems at the beginning of the race, the Peugeot 205s are a little back behind the other cars, and the Lancia, with the 2 wheels drive, are in a completely bad situation. Then Vatanen really gathers back his trust and confidence in himself, and then has a duel without mercy. Now the 205s may be ready to get the first place, and Vatanen is really tenacious, and the incredible Finnish man really does the incredible exploit to catch back the Audi. The 205 is very fast, very fast, maybe even too fast, and the team gets 8 minutes of penalty for having arrived too early at the line. Vatanen will not be able, with that penalty, to catch back his time, but on the choice of wheels and tires, Vatanen does the incredible thing to catch back. and win with 1 minute 30 in advance and win the season of 1985. An incredible victory. In Sweden, the 205 Turbo 16 will be having an incredible regularity. There is no hope for the Audi Quattro of Blanquist, even though Blanquist is usually very at ease in the snowy grounds. Well, we did 5 challenges, and I'm having a look on my paper, and yes, Timo Salonen is 3rd and 5 seconds behind Blanquist, so for now everything goes really good. Batten leader, Blanquist and the Audi number 2, Salonen number 3. This will be the unchangeable ranking of the rally, and Peugeot can really keep the advantage for the World Championship.
Well, I don't mind if I can help, if I can give my...
Moi, je fais volontiers ce que je peux pour aider Peugeot. D'ailleurs, la compétition est là pour cela. Et si nous jouons un rôle utile pour l'entreprise, ce qui est normal, c'est avec plaisir que j'y prends part.
The Portugal rally is much more disputed than the one in Sweden. The main competitors, Audi and Lancia, have gained back some strength and energy. The specials are on, and the ranking is so close, it's incredible. On a very difficult track, Battanen is unfortunately forced to abandon.
Le point de la journée, il est dur à encaisser puisque Harry
today
a cassé sur
it is a very hard day.
dans une
Harry broke it, and
l'arrière droit s'est complètement
on a long special, and there was nothing we could do. All the right rear part of the car was done, and there was nothing to do. And Timo had a puncture, and he was very close to Walter Earl, but I think in the last hour, I think he might have had a problem. Thanks to the incredible ability and the speed that the technicians used, the car of Vatanen is back at the 2nd place. Behind Rover's Audi. It was Salonen driving, and he receives the advice and the order to keep that place and remain behind the Audi. And Rover is going to have a problem too, and then the roles get inversed.
Je ne suis plus tendu. Je n'ai plus besoin de conduire très vite. Dans Arganil, j'ai encore eu à attaquer parce que l'épreuve était longue et que Walter n'était qu'à 2 minutes et demie derrière nous. Mais il a crevé dans Arganil et maintenant nous menons avec 5 minutes d'avance. Oui, ça va un petit peu mieux.
Salonen keeps his 1st place and wins at last. his first victory for Peugeot. First victory of Timo Salonen, sixth victory of the 205 Turbo 16, and 2 more points for Peugeot at the World Championship. 2 incredible shows by the whole technical team, which really allowed to give all the strength to this car. Then comes the terrible safari in Kenya. This rally, this African rally, often was a specialty for Peugeot. 205's Turbo 16 are going to make their first driving tests. Nothing is spared to the cars. Everything is there. All the obstacles are possible. And it's very difficult for the engines. Even though there had been some technical improvements, the Peugeots of Vatanen, Salonen and Sabi are going to suffer very, very much. There's a fence, 150 meters. Sabi is betrayed by his Turbo 16 at the 18th challenge. The 2 other 205s are not feeling much better. Everything is done to be able to help them out. But they know already that the run is lost. Kankunen's Toyota takes the lead, while the other cars are really suffering to follow. At the 76th position of the competition, it's Vatanen who has to give up the fight. All the hopes are now on Salonen, who, even though he has an incredible talent and an incredible will too, will not be able to do anything to catch back the leading cars. To the asphalt. With the Rally of Corsica, there are 3 205s, and there's something new, the Evolution 2 for Bruno Sabi. In its permanent research for a better performance, Peugeot has shown its T16 Evolution 2, which has a new mechanical aspect and more than 400 HPs. Great power and great rendering. With 2 evolutions, one for Vatanen and Salonen and 1 evolution 2 for Sebi, Peugeot finds back its usual rivals. Lancia, which takes back the cars of the competition after the death of Vega and of the pilot Sergio Crespo. But the track is still here and the rally goes on. Saunen is going to have to abandon, and Vatanen knows a couple of problems.
2 crevaisons, une demi-heure de perdu.
2 punctures.
Vous savez, c'est sans commune mesure avec ce qui est arrivé aujourd'hui. Ça n'a rien à voir. Je ne suis pas déçu du tout. Elle est belle, ma vie à moi.
While the accident of Betega is already starting to create a suspicion on the incredible and exaggerated power of the cars, the others are really chasing down the car of Ragnotti. It is while trying to catching back the ones leading, Vatanen is going to have now an incredible drama happening. Even though it was very violent, Vatanen and Heimann are only a bit diesel. In fact, Ragnotti is able to win the Corsica Rally, and Sabi can do anything. At the Acropolis Rally, Peugeot contents itself with the Evolution 1, which is perfectly ready, but Vatanen breaks its direction at the second special. Salonen, leading the rally since its beginning, must now defend and save the colors of Peugeot. And he will be making it without never ever giving back the first place he has. Second will be Audi, but Peugeot will win the rally. It is a very, very beautiful victory with the 205 Turbo 16. Well, scratch in the first part, but they still win the rally. It is incredible and amazing for them. And it is amazing also at the level of the World Championship. This is what automobile racing is about. One day you're ahead, one day you're back, and today we are ahead. When he finally arrives at the Rally of the 1000 Lakes, Salmon has won 2 victories after the Acropolis, in New Zealand first and then in Argentina. He let very few chances to Olido to catch him back on the score. Lancia is also present, but its chances on the championship are quite inexistent. Very hardly accidented in Argentina, Vatanen is replaced by Burdel, not yet used to the power of the Peugeot. So Salonen really has to fight alone against Lancia and Audi. Salonen, at the end, will be world champion 3 rallies before the end of the season. And Peugeot will win its first title.
C'est la réussite du
It is the
travail
success
d'une
of the
équipe,
work
c'est
of a whole
la
team.
réussite
It is the success
d'un projet
of a
d'une
project,
entreprise.
of a whole company and manufacturer, which is named Peugeot.
C'est quelque chose de
And I really must say
satisfaisant.
that this is something so satisfying.
Absolument remarquable.
The team has been incredibly remarkable and great. The engineers and the technicians of the technic direction and studies direction at Peugeot, well, they can be really proud. And the whole company today must be very proud of the results we obtained and that we are now world champion of the rallies. Now that they have the title, Peugeot attack the 1986 season as the great favorites, and now the evolution is ready, definitely ready, and the competitors can try to fight. Lancia has now forgotten its old two-wheel drive car and now is back with the S4, four-wheel drive and central motor, central engine, just like the 16 of Peugeot. Other manufacturers are also trying to catch back on the leaders. To defend the colors of the town of Sochaux, Yuak Hankunen will join Saonen and Sabi. The Italian team wins at Monte Carlo, in Argentina, in San Remo, and the Olympus Rally too. While Peugeot wins the victories in Sweden, Corsica, in Greece, in New Zealand, at the Thousand Lakes, and also at the Iraq. But to what price? The big groups are over the 400 HPs, and there are no possibilities for mistake. Henri Pierre and Henri Buchanan win in Corsica, which gives a very bitter taste to the victory of Renaud Sabe.
J'étais vraiment très heureux de gagner cette
I was
épreuve.
so happy to win this competition, but
Cet accident, donc,
this
on a perdu
accident
nos copains, quoi,
where we
hein,
lost our
et
friends,
Henri Toivonen et
Henri Toivonen
équipiers, donc, malheureusement,
and
ont
his
disparu
teammates
lors de cette édition. Et pour
disappeared
nous, ça a
during
été,
this issue.
terrible, quoi. C'est
And for
sûr
us it
que
was
je
a
suis très
terrible,
partagé
terrible shock.
sur la joie
Of course,
de
I'm shared
cette
between
victoire
my
parce qu'il y a
happiness
eu la
for that
perte de nos
victory
copains. Alors, j'ai pas pu
and
apprécier cette
the
épreuve,
sadness of losing our
ce
friends.
résultat comme j'aurais dû.
I didn't
Mais bon, effectivement,
appreciate, I
il y a un moment
didn't
dans la
enjoy
saison, le Tour de Corse avec Peugeot, bon, l'année
that
d'avant,
day
j'étais
as
second,
I might have had,
chaque
but
année, j'étais performant.
every year I was
J'étais
performing,
vraiment très content de la remporter.
and so we were very happy to win,
Puis
but
donc, sur ces terrains-là, c'était une satisfaction
On
quand même
that
de avoir
ground,
mon palmarès.
it was a good satisfaction to win that day. Extraordinary machine, ultra performant. The big groups are really conceived with safety conditions, but repeated accidents will be putting an end.
On était conscient qu'on vivait une époque
We were
un peu
conscious that
particulière, qu'on avait des
we knew we
voitures
were living a
qui sortaient
very
de l'ordinaire.
kind of original and special time. For me, it was the more exciting moment of all the world championships. All the cars were about as strong as 500 HPs. It is very rare to see those cars, that kind of cars on the road, and we've never seen it since then. We were conscious we had to find a solution, to find something to be able to limit the power. Limiting the power. Imagine, we could have been able to reach 600 or 700 or even more in HPs, so the cars were about 900 kilos, and so we knew that if we went out of the track, we were dead. And we had to find a solution and maybe prohibit. Peugeot would just have the time to conquer the second world title for the second consecutive occasion, but it was then the time to send the 205 Turbo 16 to other adventures. Now that it has been forbidden from the World Championship, the big groups now try to find another place, another paradise to show their capacities. And starting in 1987, they are in rally raids in Africa. Peugeot reacted well. They knew how to, they found a way to find new opportunities with the same basis, with a competitive car, being able to start racing in the rally raids. They had proposed it to me, but I in fact got in charge of the development of the car. I was the first one to develop and have the 205 Turbo 16, which was designed for the rally raids, and it therefore won later on with Ari Vatanen. So it is a real storm operation that the Turbo 16 will be participating to. In 1990, Vatanen and Kankunen will be able to be making 2 victories, consecutive victories. Thanks to Vatanen again, that the Rally of the Faroes will be another competition added to the incredible list of victories of the 205, which showed again its incredible robustness and performances, whichever the place it is driven. The 205 Grand Raid, which had in fact succeeded as the new version of the 205 Turbo 16, then let its place for the 405 Turbo 16, which came from the same concept and in direct descendants to the 205. And then comes the time for the 405 Turbo 16 to give Peugeot various victories. In 1989 and 1990, 2 Paris-Dakars. But the exploits of the 205 Turbo 16 are not over yet. To be able to satisfy the demands of the American market, Peugeot will start to launch the 205 in the crazy run of Pikes Peak, which starts right in the mountains. 20 kilometers of very dusty tracks, with canyons on one side and rocks on the other. This is Vatanen's 405 Turbo 16, which will be winning the race in 1989. Impressive and crazy rally in Colorado. For 1987, it is 3 205s for Vatanen, Zanussi and Mehta that Peugeot engages. And the goal is to beat Audi, the competitor which is winning the rally since 1985. When you enter a new competition, you have to win. In front of us, we have a very important competitor, which we have often met before during the World Championship with Earl. It is Audi. So Audi has already won on that field. They know it. They know the rally. And we were discovering everything. The problems were new for us. The way the car was going to react on that kind of place. Also, all that was added on the car and all the aerodynamics changed to be able to keep the power on the ground. Mehta will not pretend to win. He's not at ease on this kind of race. Zanussi attacks. The 205 is a real bomb. And on the arrival, the record is broken. 10 minutes and 56 seconds for the first time in Pikes Peak. The limit of the 11 minutes has been broken. It's Baton's turn now. Always on the razor's edge and always with the incredible talent we know he has. But once he has reached a crest, he knows he has lost. His engine suddenly doesn't have any more power. His time is still putting him number one, but the Audi of Rohr is now attacking. The great German champion uses the best of his car and his talent, and he destroys the record in 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Peugeot has failed, but the 405 will avenge her next year. Some turbo clips broke a few kilometers after the beginning of the race, so he finished at 7 seconds from Walter. And that's how the race goes. It's a pity, but what can you do? It has been an incredible career for the 205 Turbo 16. This car has brought an incredible presence in the world of racing cars. Everybody has supported this car in its country, and its name is known around the world. What is left now today? Now the 205 T16 is part of our national collections. Those cars are now kept by the Museum of Peugeot. But a few non-professionals have bought 3 T16 205 that they use exactly as they were used 10 years earlier. We love it because it still works very, very well. It's solid, it is very enjoyable and comfortable to drive. No problem at all. It was a real competition car. It was, I mean, what was left of between the 205, the series model, you know, only some elements of the body. The whole conception of the car was totally modern and revolutionary. And for the image of the company, we did of this car a winning bomb, and we reached our goals.